Alright YouTube, so I am not an experienced content creator, but I got this 2015 VStrom 650 XT about a month ago, and I am trying to do the mods that I want on it. And one of them is the skid plate, and I wanted it mounted just to the crash bars and the frame, and I ended up settling on the Cosmo skid plate. It seems to check all the boxes. It comes from Greece. A little bit questionable getting it, but I did get it, and the price was pretty fair and everything. The instructions are basically non-existent. I did manage to get some instructions, and the very second step of the instructions is to take off the side stand. Luckily, I mounted a SW Motec center stand like a couple weeks ago. It was one of the first things I did. And I guess if you don't have a center stand, you're going to have to tie the thing up on those bars. I don't know. But we should have a fairly reasonable time getting this on. And the only other video I found of this install wasn't even in English. So I'm going to try this out and see if this can be of help to anybody else. This is the OEM crash bar as far as I know. I got some tools laid out. This is the skid plate. Here's the mount. This side goes behind the current side stand. That goes on the other side. It looks like an exhaust bracket. These are the tools I believe I'm going to need. So it comes with a 17 millimeter hex for the side stand, and then the bolts that come with the kit increase that up to 19. So you need the 17, 19, and then you need a 12 for the current exhaust bracket, and that increases to a 13. So I've got the 13 there. You need a torque wrench to tighten the side stand. You go to 84 inch-pounds first, back it off 1/8 of an inch, and then you go to 29 foot-pounds for the final torque. And so I've got 84 inch-pounds in this guy and 29 foot-pounds in that guy. And you Loctite it. And that's about what I think it's going to take. So let's see how this goes. All right, so we're looking under the bike, and I'm on the right side of the bike looking towards the left. Here's the side stand. These are the two screws that I'm going to be removing, and this one also. So I'm going to get those taken off. I'll report back if there's any kind of issues with that. See if I can get the bracket installed. Okay, so back on the wood, give myself a little more clearance, and what are we gonna get here? That one's coming. And that one's coming. That's how you get this off. Not that it's going to be a fast process.
this back one a little. Heck yeah. Loosening up. All right, this is going to take a long time, but it will work. Okay, so here we are. Side stand off. So I broke these loose with a breaker bar, and then I shifted to a 1/2-inch drive socket, which worked good for this. This one right here doesn't have clearance back here for the head of a 1/2-inch drive, so you had to switch to the 3/8-inch drive, this one, to go on the back one. But it's off now, and we're going to clean that up and take the other side off, and then we should be able to install that back plate. Okay, so that's the trick. Here is, I haven't Loctited or tightened anything down, but there is the bracket. Hi, Atlas. Mounted right there. So I'm going to Loctite that, the ends of those threads, put the side stand back on, Loctite this guy, torque everything down, and then I think we're moving. Okay, so here we are. We've got the bracket back there, fully tightened and Loctited. Then I was just going to test fit this, make sure it was going to fit. So there's several different holes you can use. Those are the ones I had to use. So I put the U-bolts there on the crash bar first, just real tight. They're not, or I'm sorry, real loose. They're need to be snug down. They're nylocks, and these are nylocks too. Need to be snug down there, but should fit pretty well. So I'm gonna tighten everything up and see how it goes. Okay, so all finished. This is what we got. Really pretty nice. Nice clearances and stuff. I mean, it's not easy to do. It's not hard, but there's just very little space to work. Getting that, getting those bolts off of the center stand right there. Or, I'm sorry, the side stand was hard. I mean, each revolution you're basically doing like a, I don't know. It's like one click of a socket driver. Never once was I able to use an impact wrench. I seriously doubt there would have been space to use a battery powered ratchet, but you know, possibly, who knows. But anyway, that's what we got. And as far as the tools go that was used, I got the center stand. I don't know how you would do it without the center stand. Really don't. And you have to prop it up a little bit higher just to get the breaker bar to loosen up the side stand bolts, because there's just no clearance. I mean, you got like maybe 5 degrees to work with. So here's the hardware that came off. Never got to use that guy. Breaker bar, 1/2-inch drive, 3/8-inch drive, 3/8-inch torque, and a 1/4 inch. So basically inch pounds. You gotta do inch pounds. This one we'll do foot pounds. And then you need a 10, 12, 13, 17, 19. And you need this 5mm Allen, and you need a 3/8 to quarter drive, or actually, you can probably do without that. 10, 12, 13, 17, and 19. The 17 I had to use on the breaker bar, so that's a 1/2 inch, and then this one's a 3/8, and some wobble extenders and the blue Loctite. That's it, and I like it. And actually, it took me probably about an hour and 15 minutes, all said and done. One closing thought. It took me a while to find the instructions because I did not see that on the bubble wrap that they wrapped this in. It was not real obvious, but this is what you scan to get the instructions. I got customer service from Cosmo to email me the instructions. That's how I ended up figuring out sort of where the washers and bracket and all that stuff went. So anyway, scan this. Don't lose it if you order this skid plate. Thanks for watching.